It's Wednesday evening. You all know what that means. It's mainstream racing series time. And we are here for race number 10 of our second season. We are here in the Netherlands at the midway mark of the season. Battle of Midway, you could call it, here at the Zandvoort International Circuit. We have already 17 drivers in. Yesterday it was called we would have a full grid. Now it looks like it's not going to be entirely full. One driver, Stefan Williams, told us that he has some PlayStation problems. Further in the background chat, one of our drivers, the second McLaren driver, Sam Clark, tells us that he still needs a few minutes to finalize the game update that was coming in 2 days ago. But okay, we will see if Sam Clark, Captain Infinity, can make it in time. For the moment, I am already delighted that we have 18 drivers in. I'm Zeb Bauer, glad you're with us for race number 10 of season 2. Let's have a short look around in the lobby. Who has already checked in? That's me. And yeah, the rules and the way we play. We always go on a 18 minutes qualifying, followed by a 50% race distance. What should be, I think, something around 35 laps here in Zandvoort. Equal car performances, of course. VSC, safety car, rules and flags, all that is on. We see dynamic weather. That is always a topic in Zandvoort because the Formula 1 scheduled this race to be held in late April, early May originally in the 2020 calendar, and yeah, at the end of April, right on the edge of the North Sea, the weather can be really rough, and so there is a lot of rain on this track. I have been racing here multiple times in all my offline career races plus all the streams I had, and I think I did not have, maybe let's say, 3 events without rain. So this is definitely a topic for tonight. The assists we run on, we see the anti-lock brakes can be on, maximal medium traction control, manual gearbox, and all stuff around the pit entry, pit assist, all that is off. So you have to maintain the pace manually, and this is the track. The rebuilt Zandvoort circuit, and as I said, just on the edge of the North Sea, just a few 100 meters away. Track difficulty is set to medium. Well, it is, I would say, a rather difficult track just because of the fast turns. It's a real sand dune roller coaster, and dirty air is a big topic here. There is more or less no real overtake possibility except the long main straight. Lap record is not available. That is because the track was rebuilt, and the last lap record is dating back to the year of 1985. Alain Prost, the professor, and the lap time, of course, is not valid as it has been a different track layout than we race here nowadays and tonight. I have a short look in the background chat. We are a few minutes over our schedule. That is around the update situation of the game of Sam Clark. So we will just wait and see what will happen there, and I suppose we will head towards the Netherlands within the next few minutes. I will be back with you in a moment. So, and we are about to head to Zandvoort. I think that we will do so without Sam Clark for the moment. One of our admins said that he is invited and that he should be able to join late as we run a 18 minutes qualifying. So Sam Clark should have the possibility to jump into his car then with a few minutes ticked off the quali session. Let's just wait and see what will happen here while we see these beautiful pictures of the dunes. And on the right hand side is the North Sea, as I said, just a few hundred meters away. And yeah, Zandvoort was one of the tracks I was really looking forward to in the new game. Well, now the old game. And sadly, this event did not happen in the real life. But just as much as I am looking forward to the new tracks of the new game then, even though there are the first rumors that they will not be on the game already, but we will have to wait and see until it's July the 16th, then I would like to say. Yeah, and here we are in the pit lane of Zandvoort. It is fair weather, sun is shining, not a single cloud on the sky visible to us here. Let's see who will be the first one to head out onto the track. This is a Ferrari. The Ferrari of Zemixna, Czech Rognan. One of our younger drivers, rather a big talent, you would like to say. So he is, of the two Ferrari drivers, he definitely is the Charles Leclerc version of driver. He told me last week that he feels confident at the moment, that he wants to close the gap to Peter Simpson, at least time-wise, because on the overall standings he will not be able to close up to him. I would like to say at least how things look like at the midway mark of Season 2. And yeah, a little tradition of mine to ride with the first driver who ever goes out to get a bit of a feel for the track. He is already at the end of Sector 2, beginning of Sector 3. Sector 3 is a stadium section, 2 long turns, and there he is, Captain Infinity. Sam Clark has made it to update his game, and he is with us right now. While Ragnar is already in the first turn, and this fast turn 2 combination, a bit of a slower turn 3, steep turn. Then he goes out onto the dune roller coaster, fast turns up and down, long right here at the end of sector 1, another long right-hander, and yet another rather long right. So this is really torturous for the front left tire. Tire temperature will be a big topic for our drivers here tonight. I hope they have lowered their tire pressure. He's at the end of sector 2, taking this curve very aggressively. You can, or rather must, do so. And here he is already into the last turn. No, sorry, there is the last turn. And a long right-hander, again torturous for the left front tire. And the first time is a 109.5. That is already not bad. But Simo Peter Simpson behind him and already blasted his time by 3/10. So Peter Simpson in the Renault, there he is. He is really the man of the season as things look like right now. He DNF'd in, I think, 3 races of the 9 we had, but the other 6 he all won. So he has 100% win rate whenever he finishes a race. Really a more or less errorless season for him thus far, except the DNFs, which were partly caused due to internet and connection issues for him, so not really his fault in some times. But Peter Simpson looks like the man to beat. He was already very strong in season 1, just lost the championship in the last 5 laps of the last race to Dominic Walsh. Walsh, who has a rather mediocre season, sitting in the midfield of the table, P6 in our overall standings with around about half the amounts of points than Peter Simpson has. And Kantan has pushed up into second, 1.5 tenths behind Peter Simpson, so the gap is not really big. Kantan, who came into our league for this season 2, he looked very fast. He looked like dangerously fast in the first 3 events. But then at race 4 and beyond, anything happens. Something broke apart for him and he missed 2 races due to moving to another flat, so that didn't help his season likewise. And now he is in 3rd overall with minus 60 points already on Peter Simpson. 3rd then right now Tiger Rognan, in 4th Nevis Ekic, P5 Bilton Matt, who is the newest addition to mainstream racing series, as Akil Bantapelli just left us again. He was just 1 race with us, decided to leave already very early again. I have no information why he did so, but he did. In 6th then Tom Walsh, 7 Ryan Price at the moment, Blake Gary 8, Ricky Kuau in 9, Mark Goodman 10th. That's the top 10 how they look like at the moment. Let's have a look who's on a hot lap. This is maybe McLaren number 1, Stuart McDonald, here at the end of sector 2. The single Scotsman in our league. Bit of a slide here on acceleration coming out of turn 12, turn 13, turn 14, and He has clocked 110.9. Only good enough for P11 at the moment. And the only one who's on a hot lap right now, that is Dominic Walsh, our reigning champion, who, yeah, let's be honest, who will be replaced, who we are searching for a follow-up. I don't want to speak negatively about him, but I think that he will not be able to make up the ground he lost to Zemo in the first half of the season. And his first hot lap is almost exactly a second slower than the time of Zemo. No time set yet from Sam Clark, Captain Infinity, the one we were waiting on. Still sitting in his garage with yellow tires mounted. Meanwhile, Peter Simpson is trying to improve again. No, he is not. Just aborted his hot lap. Then we see Jack Rognan. Who improved his time by 1.something tenth. 1.5 tenth it was. That is good, but not good enough to attack Kantan sitting in second. And Jare van der Bril, the other Ferrari, has pushed up and into P4, getting closer to his teammate. The almost home driver, the Belgium man. So right now, the next one who would be on a hot lap might be Blake Gary. Let's see what our youngster is doing, youngest driver in our league. But I suppose he's not on a hot lap. No, he's not anymore. He will return to his pit crew, get himself a fresh set of red tire. Behind him in 13th is Ricky Kuau. P13 at the moment. Let's see what he'll do in sector 1 of his second lap. More or less level to his formerly posted time. And the end of sector 2. Oh yeah, there he found some time. He found half a second in sector 2, but had a bit of a locked tire there into the stadium section. I don't know if that might have costed him a little bit of time. Let's just see what the clock will say in the end. And he, yes, improves himself 4.5 tenths, but that's only good enough for P11. Blake Gary is out, and that has been a crash. That was a crash. There he is. There he is. Into the barrier there. So I suppose he lost his car on acceleration. Let's see if we can get it depicted again. No. Oh! What do we see here? What happened there? We see David Lawson, our host. And Mercy Man is out. Mercy Man. That's no one else than Martin Watt. The real life friend, something like one of the best friends of David Lawson in the real life. And those two boys, they were so happy that they were drawn together into the Red Bull team. And yeah, well, that didn't work out too well here in Zandvoort. I will try to get in some background information. And let's see what happened there. Sadly, I just saw it in the background as I was still trying to figure out what happened to Blake Gary. Collision between teammates. So the last starting grid position is already given. P19 goes to Martin Ward. Meanwhile, Sam Clark hasn't just made it into our session, but he has made it out on track. P13 on medium tires. He runs again another lap on them. Ah yeah, and he is pushed into the top 10. P9 for him on this set of mediums. And wow, there is another pole setter, Bilton Matt. Matt Bilton has pushed himself up into the first position. Just half a tenth faster, but he is faster than our blistering man, Peter Simpson, who looks a bit slow on his next hot lap. Let's see if that was just the vision to me. No, he is slow. I suppose Pete Simpson has aborted his next hot lap try. Maybe a mistake already early, or just a bit of a try of the last few things you can change on the setup. Anyway, still enough time. 5 minutes, almost exactly 5 minutes left to get in a fresh set of tire and then go out on track again. Yeah, Bilton Matt, I know him a little bit. I have already broadcasted his races from another league that sadly got disbanded meanwhile. And we wanted to have an incoming driver interview between him and Nevis Ikic, but for some technical reasons that did not work out as planned. So I have sadly no background information I can give you about Mr. Bilton. And but the important fact we know already, because he is really fast. Let's see what Peter Simpson tries here on his next hot lap try. He has improved a little bit, 62 thousandths of a tenth. His improvement. That would be enough to give him the pole position back, but I think he will not have another hot lap. The time will run out for him. And now, he lost a little bit of his improvement, still sitting at 26 thousandths of a tenth. That would not be enough now to reconquer the pole position. Let's see what the last steep turn will bring for him. And he aborts his hot lap. He was faster than before, but still he aborted it to get in to get a fresh set of red tire and then try again. Maybe he lost the time out of sight a bit when he ran through of his last aborted hot lap try. So 3 minutes left exactly, and let's see who's on a hot lap. Ryan Price just crossed the timing line to go out on a hot lap. He had a good qualifying in our last event in Bahrain, but then DNF'd rather early. Let's see what the second Mercedes will be able to do here tonight. First sector coming to an end round about here. No improvement. 1.5 seconds already. He is behind his time before. So Ryan Price, I would like to say, is finished. And who's the next one on a hot lap? Let's maybe have a look what Jack Rocknan is doing. If he can improve, we could have us a real 3 or 4 sum battle for the pole position. But Rocknan does not look like he would be in a position to attack for the pole position. Oh, he was a little bit on a gravel there. He lost time. Yes, he is finished. He is finished. No improvement possible any further for Rocknan. He's coming into the pits, but he will not have enough time to run on a hot lap again. So he is maximally in P4. His teammate Vanderbilt on an out lap right now. Maybe let's see what Captain Infinity is doing. There he is. Penultimate turn and the last one here. Let's stay with him for the moment. Where will he jump to? Oh, he improved by half a second, but that is not good enough to improve. P11 still for Sam Clark, now even P12 as someone has pushed ahead of him. The Rockstar Caruso finally made it on an outlap. Likewise, Andrew Mont. Leonard Cam is finished in P17 only. Ooh, big disappointment for the McLaren driver. Both the McLarens, I would like to say. And we need to have a look at the pole position battle. Sam Clark runs over the second sector here, and he is a lot improving his time, but we have to have an eye on what's happening further in front. Diane van der Bril, the end of sector 1 for him. Little bit of improvement. What is Kantan doing? Kantan at the end of sector 2, 3/10 is improvement. That would be enough for the pole position. And Peter Simpson has aborted his hot lap. Peter Simpson will not be in the pole this time. Let's have a look what Kantan is doing. Can the Williams challenge the Haas of Bilton? Kantan in the end is a pole setter. Kantan is in the pole. Can Bilton Matt counter this pole attack? Bilton Matt running in the first sector, 74 thousandths his improvement. That would already be enough to start in the pole position. Let's ride on board with him. After so many weeks, we finally have a real vivid battle for the pole position. And in sector 2, little bit of improvement still for Bilton Matt after the dominance in the qualifyings. For Peter Simpson, we have us a threesome battle. Simpson already finished. It will be Kantan or Bilton Matt in the end. Bilton did it! He did it! 108.9. The only driver who was able to push the limits under the 109 minute mark. And this is it, the first pole setter for a bunch of weeks. I have to look it up. I didn't look it up before the event, but the first man who is not called Peter Simpson in the pole for quite some weeks. And Kantan in second. That means that Peter Simpson is starting in the second row. I'm not sure if that happened anytime yet this season. In fourth, Jack Rogner. 5th, Diane van der Bril. 6th, Dominic Walsh. 7th, Sam Clark. 8th is Thomas Walsh. P9, Nicky Kuau. 10th, Nevis Ekic. P11, then Andrew Mont. P12, Ryan Price. P13, Mark Goodman. 14, Mike Taylor. 15, Mikko Caruso. 16, David Lawson. 17, Blake Gary. 18, Leonard Cam. And last position, the second Red Bull of Martin Ward. So our drivers now have half a minute of time to load their tire strategy into the game. It looks like fair weather, so no rain, at least for the start. Let's see if that might change during the session. And I will be back with you in a moment. So here we go into our parade lap, lap 0 of 36. And yeah, first thing to watch is the tire strategy, of course. We see, what do we see? We see the top 10 have to start on the soft tire they used in the qualifying, of course. P11, Andrew Mont does so too. And then we see a handful of mediums and softs. Mediums for Ryan Price, mediums for Grimo, Mark Goodman, his name. Mediums for Blake Gary. Some softs, Martin Ward in last position, David Lawson, the Rockstar Caruso, Mike Taylor, Andrew Mont, and one driver, Stuart McDonald. Leonard Cam has elected to start on hards. Yeah, well, we see, just when we talk about it, the tire strategy presented by the Amazon Web Services. And Mario Isola from Pirelli has spoken out a 1 or 2 stop strategy. I think that red to white, soft to hard might be possible too. So the advantage of starting on mediums is not as big as on some other tracks, I would like to suppose. But we will find out about that later. Let's hope that we will not have a same chaotic race as we had here in Season 1. This was really tremendously havoc, I would like to say. I hope that everything will run smoother tonight than a few months ago. And starting grid is forming up. Bilton Matt in the lead. Peter Simpson only in the second starting row. That is really an unfamiliar picture. But speaking about tension and excitement, I admit I like it. The 5 red lights are on and the Dutch Grand Prix is started. Here we go, go, go. Good start from Bilton, Matt and Kantan more or less simultaneously. Not a good start, I think, from Simo, who's under attack from the Ferrari. That was already the first tag, first debris flying off in turn 1. And there's some battle between Simo and the Ferrari. And Simo is tagged from behind. Simo loses positions. Sam Clark had to run on the grass in order to avoid another collision. There was some action going on, some salt in the soup here from the start in the Simo's race. Sam Clark looks aggressive. We have a yellow in sector 2. That's already behind us. I think it was Navis Ekic who spun. Ooh, there's a big battle ahead. Ignore the table on the left-hand side. The standing is not correct. That's always the same for the game. Will only be correct as soon as we are in lap 3. For the moment, let's have a look. This is the view from Bjarne Vandebril. Can it be true that Simo is only in P6? That was a real bad start from Simo. So even Dominic Walsh overtook him. Both the Walshes ahead of Simo. Here's Vandebril closing up to Sam Clark ahead. And yeah, we have to wait another lap until we can see what really happens about the positions up and down. I don't trust it right now. We see the first pit stops from Mike Taylor and Navis Ikic. Those two were the reason why we saw some debris flying around there already in the first turn. The track is very narrow there, so you can easily tangle up there. Vandebril under pressure from Andrew Mont. There's the view from him. No DRS, of course. DRS will be activated next lap. Yeah, Jan Vandebril needs to stay within the 1 second window to Sam Clark ahead in order to be able to activate DRS then too, so that Andrew Mont doesn't have the full effect. But a little bit of gravel for Andrew Mont, but no one behind him who was able to take advantage. So now we are in lap 3 and we see it was correct. Peter Simpson is only in 6th position, -3. for Peter Simpson and Jarne van der Brill. We saw those two boys. They had some contact. There was some tag. No damage for both of them, I suppose, but still it was enough for both of them to drop for 3 positions. While we see the next pit stop from Ryan Price, so not a good early phase of his race too. Bilton Matt in the lead. Kantan tries to stay inside the DRS window. Then Jack Rockner in third and Dominic Walsh. Even Dominic Walsh, who had a okay qualifying, even him overtook Peter Simpson, likewise to his brother Thomas Walsh. And then Sam Clark, plus minus 0 in his 7th position. Van de Brill, one of the losers and on the start. Monster plus 2, that's quite good. And Ricky Kuao in the 2nd Renault dropped the position. And in the midfielders we see plus 4 from Caruso, Blake Gary, and even a plus 5 for Martin Ward. Caruso and Ricky Kuao, the 2 real-life friends, battling for P10, what would equal the final point. Mirko Caruso, who is racing without a racing line nowadays. That was what he told me. And he looks very close. He looks faster than Ricky Kuao. Short DRS zone here, but this is really too short. Yeah, he doesn't dare to attack. But he has driven his friend into a mistake. Double braking mistake from Ricky Kuao. And Caruso says, thank you. And just cruises by easily. We see yellow in sector 2. There is a Mercedes standing somewhere. That can only be Ryan Price, who is in last position anyway. Caruso defending, but doesn't even have to. Kuao is too far away for an attack. And for the moment, let's have a look at our leaders. This is Bilton Matt and Kantan. Kantan, who was in danger to drop out of the 1 second window, has made it back into the 1 second, has made it into the half second window, and will be activate DRS right here on this short little stretch of DRS zone, right here where Caruso pushed his friend into a mistake. Bilton Matt will not do this favor to Kantan. And Ryan Price is out. He returned to the pits, retired his car. Sadly, 2nd time in a row that he DNF'd. But here's the battle for the lead. Kantan against Bilton Matt. But Matt is fast on the straight, almost equalizing the DRS effect for Kantan. And now let's ride on board with Kantan over the sand dune roller coaster in the dirty air of Bilton Matt. That is, especially in this turn, really bad. And in this turn likewise, but he manages to stay close enough to consider a next attack very soon. Doesn't hit the apex correctly, but it was still okay. The DRS zone here just to pull into the rear of Bilton. Penultimate turn and the last steep turn then. And then we'll have another DRS zone. Best overtake position coming up. 4/10 the gap. Ooh, let's see if that can work. No overtake button, so it will not work. Kantan does not consider to attack. Maybe he's just recharging. Here's the telemetry from Kantan. I don't like this vision too much, but sometimes it's quite interesting. as we do not see the excess fuel, but we see the amount of ERS that he is putting into his engine as extra, and he has 1/3 of his battery filled. That is not enough for an attack. Yep, no attack for him. Let's stay with him for one more DRS zone, because there is another battle group behind us. He is closer now, 2.5 the gap. This time it might work. Bilton Matt knows it. And here's the fastest lap of the race from Kantan. Attack on the inside. Bilton Matt leaves the door open. No chance. And now let's have a look behind. This is the group I was talking of. There is Thomas Walsh. Then Seymour. Then Dominic Walsh. Seymour overtook Walsh. Seymour overtook Dominic Walsh. The reigning vice champion overtook the reigning champion, but Seymour had an acceleration trouble, and that brings in Dominic Walsh, yellow behind us. Ooh, Seymour able to stay ahead. Blake Gary has spun behind us. He caused the yellow in Sector 1. Oh, Dominic Walsh could not take advantage of the short laps of Seymour. And behind us is Captain Infinity, Sam Clark by his name, and then Jane van der Brill. So, with a little bit of luck, this could turn into a big battle group. And there's Kantan! Kantan has lost it! Oh my goodness! Kantan, maybe this was an attack on Bilton Matt for the lead. Sadly, we missed that, as we were in this midfield battle group. And that's very sad in the background. First pit stop for Sam Clark. That's rather early. Only 8 laps on his softs. Didn't see if there was damage. And Dominic Walsh trying to attack Peter Simpson. Simpson, who does not look like so stellar and bulletproof as he was in the last weeks. Seymour looks vulnerable tonight. Still in a battle for a podium, potential podium, still possible for Peter Simpson right now, especially now as Kantan has dropped somewhere into the midfields. Kantan, by the way, into the pits. I saw some debris lying there on the track, so he had front wing damage. That's why I supposed that he was attacking Bilton Matt and then ruined his front wing. Kantan on fresh softs, so that's, yeah, well, let's see if that has ruined his race. The other one who stopped early, Sam Clark, has stopped for fresh hearts. I suppose that Sam Clark will try to go through on this set. That could have been an option for Kantan too, but no. Tan stopped for fresh softs. So while Jane van der Brill is getting closer, another yellow. Another yellow. Captain Infinity is out. Sam Clark is out, and we have a safety car. Safety car early in the race. Oh, what happened there? What happened there? Sam Clark, who just came out of the pits. He just had a pit stop. By the way, Blake Gary is rather slow here too. Yeah, we will see a whole bunch of pit stops now. That is maybe a little bit of, yeah, is it a rescue or not for Kantan? As he had a pit stop just 1 lap earlier, he might pull ahead over a few people who pit now. The leaders all will come into the pits now, I would like to suppose. Here is Bilton Matt into the pits. Rocknan in. Tom Walsh and Seymour behind. In and in. Tom Walsh goes through. Oh, I think that was a mistake. That, I think, was a big mistake. Rognian already finished. Hearts for him. Likewise, Bilton Matt. Tom Walsh runs on mediums. Mediums. Ooh, very close to Peter Simpson. That was more or less an unsafe release from his team. But that doesn't exist in the game, of course. So Tom Walsh, the only one who runs on mediums right now. Everyone else has stopped for fresh hearts. Simo did so. Van de Brill. Caruso. Kuao. Goodman. Mont. Kantan, of course not. He was in the pits one lap earlier. He will have an advantage on the restart. He will be the fastest driver on the restart. But he will have to stop again. He needs to stop again. He must pray for another safety car phase sometime late in the race then. Andrew Mont in the Alpha Tauri. Fresh Hearts. Navy's Ikic went through. He has a penalty. Oh, a drive-through penalty. That means, I suppose, I didn't see the message, but I suppose that was speeding under safety car condition. Stuart McDonald didn't stop yet. David Lawson didn't. Blake Gary on fresh softs. Likewise to Mike Taylor and Martin Ward on fresh mediums. So we still have 24 laps to go. I was just considering if you might make it through the race on a fresh set of mediums, but I'm really not sure. 24 laps, that is really, really long. First message in our chat box. Greetings to you too, Slydog Racing League. And we have seen Martin Ward taking a little spin here in the safety car phase. So he is, didn't lose a lot. But I would like to call it he's very uniquely warming up his tires. And there is Dominic Walsh, the leader. Well, leader is actually Bernd Mailander, but he's sitting in P1 right behind Mailander, and I still think that he running through was a mistake. He did a mistake because in 3-4 laps he needs to stop, and then the field will be very packed and bunched up. And if you stop then, you will easily be in last position. Even though we will see another lap of safety car, I suppose, because Martin Ward is so far behind. That is momentarily good for Dominic Walsh, but to sometime later, anytime the safety car has to come in, and then will he be chewed up right on the restart? I'm not sure. Maybe his old softs can be fast enough to at least stay ahead of Bilton Matt, but as I said, he will have to stop sometime, and then he will be last. Yeah, and meanwhile, Sam Clark has posted too that he had cold tires and pushed too hard and therefore lost his car in the final turn. And there is only barrier. There is very unforgiving place to spin, and therefore his race was ended. Thanks for letting me know. Cool that you were with us, and I hope you will be back next week. Next week, by the way, as we have a few minutes of time, next week will be a community event. We will see a special night, all the 4 short tracks. So that is Bahrain, Austin, Silverstone, and Suzuka, 4 times 25% races. And the best finisher of those races will get 25 points, and the second 18, and then 15, and so on. So this will be a cool community event for, yeah, to bring in some fun for all of us. The safety car will be in at the end of this lap. This is just one last turn now. Dominic Walsh is pacing the field, still warming up his tires. To one certain moment he will try to run away, and penalty against Kantan. Walsh still not racing. Now he is. Now he picked up the pace, and Bilton Matt is rather... Yes, he's under attack from Rognan. Rognan on the outside, and he made it. Jack Rognan overtook Bilton Matt behind us. We see yellow. There happened something behind us. Jan van der Brill and Leonard Kammer in last position. There was some problem right there, and another problem here for Peter Simpson, who is only 12th anymore. And now... Oh, Peter Simpson is out. Peter Simpson is AI driven. There is the message. Peter Simpson has left the session, and Mike Taylor has left the gravel pit. Don't know what happened there, but obviously some coming together with someone. Likewise to Mercy Man. Jan van der Brill has front wing damage. Bad race now for Van der Brill, who is in a sandwich between Mike Taylor, the AI-driven Simo, and Martin Wald. There was some debris flying around. I did not see who that came from. What is going on here? Mike Taylor with front wing damage. Leonard Cam is somewhere even further behind. Mike Taylor needs a new nose. Van der Brill does so too. There he is into the pits. Not a good race for the... Yeah, what is he? First or second Ferrari? Good big question for him. Van der Brill will finish the race on hards. Yeah, you can finish the race on hards now. Maybe even on fresh mediums. That is what Leonard Cam will try. Peter Simpson is still there, but he is actually not. He has left the session, and I suppose he will not return. So this is DNF number 4 for Peter Simpson. That will, yeah, keep his streak alive, that he has won every race that he finished. But likewise, that will mean that his lead will cut in two. Let's see who will cut into it the most. Dominic Walsh, meanwhile, is still in the lead with his old softs. The SNA build now. And Rognan in second looks very aggressively. He looks like he can overtake Dominic Walsh easily as soon as he has a chance to. Yellow behind us. Let's ride on board with Rognan over the roller coaster. And as soon as Walsh has pitted, a little bit of a trouble there for Rognan. As soon as Dom Walsh has pitted, Jack Rognan will overtake the lead he acquired from this guy, Bilton Matt, when surprising him on the safety car restart. All this brought to us from the camera angle of Thomas Walsh, who might be able to attack Bilton Matt. Tom Walsh is more or less in the discussion of the race lead too, but he has mediums mounted, so he will have to stop again, I suppose. And in the lead is his brother, just around a second away, but Tom Walsh will be under pressure now from Rognan and Bilton Matt likewise. Rognan on the inside, Dominic Walsh defending. No attack yet, but the weather, by the way, looks cloudy. Could be some rain incoming soon. And now Dominic Walsh has lost the lead. He has lost 3 positions. He has lost 4 positions. My goodness. My goodness. That you see what it's worth to have fresh, or rather old tires. No chance for Dominic Walsh to defend defend on the acceleration. He even lost another. He even lost 2 more positions. Kuao and Mont both pushed ahead of Dominic Walsh too. Is this possible from the lead to P7 within just 3 turns? And now we see Rognan pulling away a little bit of Bilton Met, but not enough to get out of the 1 second DRS window. And in 4th, have a look, Mirko Caruso, but there's a VSC. VSC, Blake Gary is out. Let's see if we can get it depicted. There he is. Oh, he lost the car on acceleration and run into the barrier on the left hand side. It's already too late. We are already beyond the position. And VSC for a few seconds. Dominic Walsh has used that for a pit stop, but now it's too late. Now everything is lost for him. At least he is not last, as I supposed him to be. He is now sitting in 10th. Oh, and now he's last because he just cashed in a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC condition. Let's have a short look about the penalties. Drive-through for Dominic Walsh and a bunch of +5s for Lawson, Martin Ward and Nevis Ikic. Yellow in sector 2. That was Nevis Ikic has spun. So again, Rogner leading over Bilton Matt, who is chasing him in the DRS window. Then in 3rd, the racing point of Thomas Walsh, trying to keep pace, and the same does Caruso, but he is rather under attack from behind. This is Kuao and Mont chasing him over the dunes. Everyone keeping a bit of distance. No attacks possible in these phases of the track, of course. Pit stop from Ikic. So that's the view from the shoulders of Andrew Mont, who had so up and down sessions lately. Great quality, for example, in Suzuka. Some good races, and we are with him right when he loses it. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Luck for him that he was close to the pit entry. Ay. Yeah. Didn't I mention it? A lot of ups and downs for him. He had a good first phase of the race, just to throw it away with these laps on the acceleration out of the last turn. And he is in 10th. And now a +5 seconds penalty for him because he crossed the white line on the pit exit. He will be angry now. He will be angry. I know him a little bit. I suppose he is biting into his wheel right now from anger. But okay, race isn't over yet. We still have approximately 1/3 to go. And what else is going on? Dom Walsh has not... No, he has not served the drive-through penalty yet. I suppose he will do now. He has 3 laps of time. Dominic Walsh, this is a little bit of karma, I would like to say, for him. At least in Sanford, because he caused this chaos I was talking about earlier in the last season, as he overtook the safety car. I have still no idea how that was possible, but it happened. And then, yeah, the rest of the race was havoc. A little bit of chaos. Andrew Mond has pushed ahead of him. So Andrew Mond at least would have 4 points in his hands right now. But well, the race isn't over yet, as I said, still 15.5 laps to go. Still a lot of stuff that can happen in that time. So let's have a look at the lead again. This is Jag Rognan, who looks like he could be able to cruise to a victory here. Rognan is leading from Tom Walsh, from Bilton Matt, and then a 3 seconds gap to Caruso, who obviously is not able to match the pace of Bilton Matt. They are on simultaneous old hards, so no strategy advantage or disadvantage for any of those two drivers. Bilton Matt is just faster, it looks. And Caruso is chased by his real life buddy Ricky Kuao. And if we remember, just around 15 laps ago, Caruso has pushed Kuao into a mistake, and that happened right here, while we see a McLaren Leonard Cam, I suppose, who has spun in sector 1 already. Yellow has vanished. Yeah, so let's see if Kuao can dish out some payback to Caruso. Right now it doesn't look like. It seems like he has even dropped out. Yeah, not yet. Not entirely. But he looks like he would drop out soon of the 1 second DRS window. And meanwhile, Andrew Mond has come up to Martin Ward, and behind, what happened there? This is Dominic Walsh. Dominic Walsh lost his car on acceleration another time. He is into the pit lane. That's, I think, the 3rd time in the last 5 laps, including a drive-through penalty. New nose for him. Fresh softs. Yeah, he can finish the race on softs now, I suppose. Just behind Stuart McDonald, he's back on the track. Behind there is Simo, who is still not here. Simo is out. CPU will drive his Renault back over the checkered flag, but no points for him, of course. So let's run through the field a little bit again. Here's Jag Rognan in the lead, 1.5 seconds his distance. He is not in cruise home mode, but still the gap is big enough so that he is not under immediate pressure. He's leading from Tom Walsh, from Bilton Matt, but Tom Walsh still in need of a pit stop. 4th, Caruso ahead still of Kuao. In 6th, very silently crawling up the positions, that's Mark Goodman. 7th, then Andrew Mond, who overtook this guy, Martin Ward, who is in a battle with Kantan. Kantan, who was chasing the lead, but then lost it somehow. He's trying to get at least a few more points. He could make a big step into the direction of Peter Simpson, but he is only in 8th, muscling through against Martin Ward. So Kantan would only be granted 4 points now. He has 60 points of gap right now on Simpson, so not a real big step forward for him. Martin Ward here in 9th. Jarne van der Brill in 10th. Had a good start. Had a good qualifying. Had an okay start. And now, yeah, chasing for 1 point. Mike Taylor in 11th. David Lawson in 12th. Dominic Walsh. Yes. He's showing us something like, yeah, the headline would fit if you say Dominic Walsh, how to ruin a race. Then the AI-driven Peter Simpson, Nevis Ekic in 15th, and Stuart McDonald in last position right now. Especially Dominic Walsh, Nevis Ekic, and Leonard Cam. They will pray for a safety car phase. And likewise is this man, Tom Walsh, who is... Oh, there was a crash. There was a crash. Mike Taylor and Martin Ward are out. They are both out. I hope that Dominic Walsh will be able to bring it to us, to film it to us. It looks like a crash just ahead. And we have a safety car phase. Oh yes, there they crashed in the pit entry. My goodness, please drivers, watch out. Whoever wants to pit, watch out. Oh, and Peter Simpson, AI driven. Peter Simpson was AI driven. He ran just into them. Nevis Ekic almost having to come to a halt on the main straight. This is Rockner, and he goes through because I suppose no one can enter the pit lane. There was still debris lying around. Ricky Kuao running over some red front wing. My goodness, what was going on there? D-Killer Ricky Kuao was running over red debris. Red debris. Did Rockner destroy his front wing? No, he didn't. Ah, Kantan, drive-through penalty for him. He had a bit of a chance now to improve on his race, but no, not with a drive-through. But all this havoc means that the pit entry was closed, you could say. Just what happened to Mick Schumacher in the Imola race. And that means that all those drivers could not enter the pit lane. Rockner and Tom Walsh, who was praying for another safety car phase, but he couldn't stop when he had the chance to. And now in 6th position, Mark Goodman. Grimo has mounted fresh softs, and he will close up to all those drivers, and Grimo could win this race. Mark Goodman in a monstrously good position or situation. Let's have a look what the drivers in the front will do. Will they run through? The advantage of a tire change on a safety car is more or less gone, because the drivers behind already came close. Tom Walsh will not stop. Bilton Matt doesn't too. There's still a lot of debris lying there. We see Leonard come into the pits. Caruso didn't stop. Kuao didn't stop. No one stopped. No one except Grimo. Lawson didn't too. Okay, he can go through on his mediums. Andrew Mond likewise. Then is Kantan, fresh mediums, but still on a drive-through in his backpack. Van der Brill, fresh softs. That is a good thing. That is a good thing for him. There was still some debris somewhere. Leonard Cam is blocking the pit exit. Ay. Didn't I say it? Just chaos. Whenever we come to Zandvoort, the race is chaos. Nevis Ekic still a bit gap until he has closed up to the rest of the field. He was one of them I was mentioning who will pray for a safety car phase, and behind him 12th and last reigning champion Dom Walsh. I still cannot believe that the AI driven Simo car just ran into the wrecked Mercyman. I can't believe it. I that will have my head shaking until midnight today. So safety car is not in this lap, as we still see two back makers, the two Alfa Romeos closing up. So I suppose that the safety car will be in this lap. Then we will head back to green in lap 30. That means DRS will be activated in lap 32. And we will see 6 laps of green conditions, 6 laps of deciding this race. And yeah. The Grimo situation. This is really gonna be interesting. Masterman meanwhile has left the lobby. Grimo in P6, sitting there on fresh softs. Yeah, safety cars in this lap now, yes. I would like to know, I would be interested if those drivers didn't want to pit or couldn't because of this wreckage, this Formula 1 car cemetery that we had on the pit entry. The two Alfa Romeos tagged each other, therefore 5 seconds penalty for Dominic Walsh. Rognan is pacing the field, and to some time he will pick up the pace and try and run away. No, he does. He is away, and we have green condition. No attack from Thomas Walsh. In third, then Bilton Matt, chased by Caruso. Then wheel to wheel, Grimo pushing ahead already after just 2 turns. Over Kuao, maybe a bit of a touch there. Grimo is the fastest driver now. Grimo will be the fastest. He will push ahead. He will try to overtake everyone ahead of him. He's already up in 4th position after just half a lap. He may not take too much of risk, of course, but he knows that he's an experienced race driver, very sympathetic boy. I got to know him in our driver's interview, and he looks in a very good condition to at least step onto the podium. We have a safety car! My goodness, safety car! Can you believe this? What happened there? What just happened there? Grimo will be angry now. He will have 2 laps less of time to chase the podium. Bunch of pit stops behind. Andrew Mond, Janne Vanderbrill, Dominic Walsh, all in the pits. How many pit stops do we have tonight? My goodness. Who knows for Vanderbrill. That was the reason. There was a collision and the game said we need a safety car. This was Mont, Vanderbrill, Walsh. We have a look. Just this 3 last drivers have mounted up, have piled up 13 pit stops. And Kantan still have his drive-through penalty to serve. Then he will be last, as the field is so bunched up behind the safety car. Plus 5s for Ikic and Walsh, Dominic Walsh. What happened there? No overtaking granted on the safety car. David Lawson, meanwhile, is at least in the points, up into P8, right behind Kantan. There he is. So the safety car will then be in next lap, so yet another restart. Thomas Walsh will be delighted of these many many safety car phases. That gives him at least a chance to conservate, to nurse his mediums over the checkered flag. As soon as Grimo will appear in his rearview mirror, I suppose there will be no chance to hold him. Oh, I am still shaking my head about this pit entry situation and the fact that Grimo is racing on still rather fresh softs, and he will have how many? I think 4 laps to slay those drivers ahead. Just 3 of them ahead. He needs to attack Bilton Matt as soon as he can. And Tom Walsh will be easy prey then, I suppose, due to the tire situation. And meanwhile, Rognian will have to try to run away as fast as he can. He needs to hope that Bilton Matt and Tom Walsh will hold up Grimo as long as possible. And yes, safety car is in this lap. Rognian is pacing the field again. And he will pick up the pace now. We are back to green once again. Tom Walsh is rather close, but not able to attack. Bilton Matt behind. Then here is Grimo. And behind is a big crash. Caruso is out. Caruso is out. And another Alfa Romeo. Who was the other Alfa? Ekic. Name is Ekic. There was a big collision, maybe even between the 2 real-life friends of Ekic and Caruso. And we have only 10 drivers left. Only 10 men left. Anyone who will finish tonight will get a point granted. There was some dirt in the air, but no bigger issue this time. Again, yeah, just chaos. I just can't repeat myself. Whenever we come to the North Sea, it's always chaos. So, this is Grimo. This is the man we have to have an eye on. He is over half a... We have a safety car! Can you believe this? Is this possible? Can you believe this? What happened this time? We had a crash on the restart that was not worthy a safety car. Then we had green, and then all of a sudden safety car again. We see one driver who said, no, it's a safety car. Yeah, okay, so that is it for Grimo. That's it for Mark Goodman. He was robbed. He was robbed his chase, his possibility to at least step onto the podium. There was a lot more possible for him, but at least a podium. So I would like to suppose that we will just finish the race how things stand right now. There is Andrew Mond way behind, and Mond needed another pit stop, and that caused a safety car. Funny thing, isn't it funny that Mond can go on, just needed a new nose, but that caused a safety car. Just maybe 5 turns before that, the Mercedes and Alfa Romeo of Ekic and Caruso crashed into the wall, so that their race was over, and that did not cause a safety car. Yeah, I think sometimes we just don't need to understand this game. But okay, here is the end of safety car phase number 3 and the 4th restart, the 5th start overall, including the standing start from the very beginning. And yes, 2 laps remaining with all the safety cars. Thomas Walsh made it possible to nurse his mediums to the end of the race. Jack Rognan, he is already grooved in. He has made another restart work. Meanwhile, Kantan was disqualified for not serving his drive-through penalty. Well, he couldn't. If there is safety car all the time, you cannot serve a drive-through penalty. Come on, this game is just annoying sometimes. But let's focus what's happening here. Rognan in the lead, more or less rather comfortably. No one able to attack him early. Let's just see what Grimo can do in the limited amount of laps. Those drivers around him, ahead and behind, everyone looks like they are in a good situation, but not able to really attack the man in front. Not even Grimo, who still has a big tire advantage. We will see DRS for only 1 lap. No, there will not be DRS anymore in the whole race. And meanwhile, Thomas Walsh attacks Rognan on the outside, but no chance. And behind, Grimo does not have a chance too, at least not yet. We are in the last lap. The last lap. Everyone should have enough of ERS and gasoline savings, so everyone can run the engine to the fullest. And over the sand dunes, through the roller coaster phase, there is of course no attack anywhere. Grimo does not look like as if he could attack. Grimo, although his tire situation does not look like he can make anything work. Meanwhile, Dominic Walsh has made it up to 5th with all the GNFs and whatever, but he still has 5 seconds of penalty and then will be 8th. Then he will be in 8th. Anyway, after a tiring long race, very chaotic race, Jack Rognan is the winner! Jack Rognan has won it in front of Thomas Walsh, nursing his mediums through the end of the race. And as the field was so close, I couldn't even finish my sentence. Then the session is already finished. Driver of the day is this man, David Lawson, our host. Let's just see how the standings, how the final table will look like. Oh, what an ending, my goodness, what a strange ending. And yeah, Jack Rognan is already celebrating in our chat box here. Right now he is still standing on the podium, getting his trophy handed over. We'll celebrate with a bit of champagne, at least the digital version of champagne, together with Tom Walsh. That was a great result from Tom Walsh to make his tires last so long. So here is our final result after penalties. Jack Rognan has won in front of Thomas Walsh and Bilton Matt. In the end, then Grimo in 4th. I expected a bit more, but still a great race considering he came from P13. Then Ricky Kuau in 5th. 6 goes to Andrew Mons. Although he had 5 pit stops for Andrew Mons, still 8 points. Almost as many pit stops as points. Then David Lawson in 7th, driver of the day, at least by the game. P8, Dominic Walsh, at least 4 points. Jarne van der Brill will receive 2 points. Nevis Ekic will receive a point, even though he actually DNF'd. He will get a point because he DNF'd just 100 meters later than Caruso. And the rest who didn't finish is Leonard Kahn, Simo, Mercyman, Mike Taylor, Gary, Captain Infinity, Ryan Price, and Kantan. Hui. What an intense race. Chaos time and time again. This is the last time we are here in Zandvoort. This is the last time we stream on the old game from the Netherlands. Yeah, wow. Excitement, especially in the last third. But well, that we are used from MRS. The MRS races are really always heart attack after heart attack. And MRS will be back next Wednesday evening. We will have the community event then, the 4 short tracks, Bahrain, Austin, Silverstone and Suzuka. And the 10 best finishers of these 4 races will get the same amount of points as you would get from a normal race event. So this event will start at 7:30 p.m. UK time, 8:30 p.m. Continental. The stream will go online always around 10 minutes earlier, approximately. If you want to be notified, hit the subscribe button and you will get a notification from YouTube. I am Sepp Bauer. I am glad you were with us for this exciting race, and yeah, I hope you will be with us again as soon as it's next Wednesday. Until then, I wish you a very pleasant evening and have a good start into May. Have a nice 1st May and a nice 3rd May holiday for all the Britons who are watching. And stay safe in these times and keep racing.